Okay. I had a boyfriend many years ago. He was my first boyfriend who had his own house. And one day I went outside to see what he was doing, and he was hoisting an American flag up the flagpole in his front yard. And I instantly felt very weird. It didn't make sense, but I felt this feeling of like, I felt scared. Yeah, I felt scared.
Well, that's a perfectly normal reaction, Sarah. It's not like you were brought up in a far-left bubble. Tell us more about this.
Scared. Yeah, I felt scared. And so I was like, what are you doing? And he said, raising the flag. And I was like, why? And he's like, because I love America. And I was like, right, of course. But inside I was shaken. And then I calmly walked to my car and I got inside and I called my sister Susie to tell her what happened. Now maybe you're thinking, what do you mean what happened? Nothing happened. Your boyfriend put an American flag up at his own house. No, you're totally right. I had no idea why I was freaking out. I had this very visceral reaction. And my sister, who knows shit because she's a rabbi in Israel, explained to me, she was like, dude, nationalism is innately terrifying for Jews. Think about it. Flags, marching, blind allegiance, these things tend to ring a bell for us. Right, of course, duh. It made sense.
So, you like those photos I threw in there just to show the hypocrisy and fallacy of what Sarah Silverman is saying here? You know, she said she was shaken because her boyfriend, who lives in America, who's an American, put an American flag on his property in America. That's ridiculous. So she calls her sister, who's a rabbi in Israel, the country that has huge walls with gun turrets on them to stop people from entering illegally, the hardest country to enter and get citizenship into unless you're a Jewish person. Therefore, it's not only a nationalist state, but it's also a theocracy. Both things the liberals in Hollywood claim to hate. And maybe these Hollywood elites would feel a little differently if the people sneaking in through our southern border were killing people and cutting off their heads like they do in Israel. Oh wait, they already are, and they don't care. We just saw that with Kate Steinle.
It made sense. And it made me realize that the things that terrify some people are the same things that give other people great comfort. You know, it's like the way the sight of a police car might give some people comfort. For instance, white people. Or it might make other people very uncomfortable, like, say, unarmed black children playing in a park. Oh, and I guess like the Duke boys. They always had run-ins with the cops, didn't they? But they would have been shot dead in episode 1 if they weren't white as the driven snow with a Confederate flag on the top of their car.
The Dukes of Hazzard. Sarah, that shows as fake as your chastity. Here's the thing. The rebel flag, back when that show was on TV, was a symbol of Southern pride and heritage. The left only changed the narrative about the rebel flag to make it a symbol of hate and oppression in the 2000s. And nobody feels comfortable when dealing with police. No white person does. No black person does. No Asian person does. You know, for white people, I guess maybe if they were being attacked by the illegal immigrants that you want to let in this country by those MS-13 gangsters, and the police come and they shoot them all and save you, yeah, maybe then you feel comfort. But you would too, Sarah Silverman, while you hide behind your mansion walls. And as far as cops shooting unarmed black kids in the park, when did that happen? I know they shot an armed black kid in a park about a couple years ago. That happened. You know, every one of these situations where the police have shot somebody and BLM rioted afterwards, the police were completely justified in it. I mean, look at Big Mike Brown, a total criminal piece of crap. And you know what? I don't want anybody to die, but this guy, he was asking for it when that happened. He was attacking a police. He had just robbed a store. The streets are probably better off without him. And you know what, Sarah Silverman? Way more white people are shot by police than blacks. And you know what? Blacks commit way more crime than any other population in the United States. And the fact is that other people of color are not having the same problems because they know how to be respectable members of society and avoid these issues.
I find that nationalist movements tend to kind of exploit patriotism for their own cause. Like, take a slogan like, Make America Great Again or America First. They go down easy. They sound patriotic. And that's because lumping an undeniable statement of patriotism into your cause is like the ultimate cheat.
Well, there you have it, guys. The long-awaited attack on Trump. Seems like Sarah Silverman, her ex-lover Jimmy Kimmel, and all the other late-night talk show hosts out there can't go one episode without attacking Trump or people on the right. And Sarah sees the irony in what she's saying when she makes that joke about her title. But here's the thing. She goes on to say that Make America Great Again and America First are dog whistles, or they're used to trick people into voting for a certain person. How's that tricking us, Sarah? If anything, you're trying to trick people into supporting globalism and socialism or communism. And that's far more dangerous than nationalism. If I'm being tricked into voting for somebody who's going to make America great, who's going to put America first, that's good for me. I live in America. My kids live in America. I want to know who's not the communist here. So if somebody says America First, I know, hey, that might be a good person to vote for because they're not America-hating, Western culture-hating communists. You see, I want my daughters to grow up in a country that's safe, in a country that's successful and prosperous. I don't have a sister in Israel that I can go run and hide with after they've imploded the economy here and filled this nation with a bunch of suicide bombing jihadists and MS-13 gangsters. But I know Sarah Silverman will hide behind her walls and then eventually fly off to Israel to go hide there when things get bad here.
But patriotism and nationalism, to me, are very different things. Like, patriotism is loving your country. I'm a total patriot. I love my country. Whereas nationalism has this, like, we're number one vibe. And I fear that that we're number one nationalism is really like an old bed buddy of racism and xenophobia. Jocelyn, we're not...
Well, we knew that was coming. The left cannot go 2 minutes these days without calling somebody a racist, a sexist, or a xenophobe. And it's all projection. Guys, I don't know if you've met any of these Hollywood liberals, but they are the most racist, sexist people around. Look at how they stereotype minorities in movies. Look at how they are the rape culture. Harvey Weinstein, all these directors raping people. They are everything they preach to us about. And it's funny because these propagandists like Sarah Silverman want to try to conflate nationalism with racism. But the fact is America is a collective of all kinds of different people. And those of us who want America to do well are nationalists. My wife is not from America originally. She's from El Salvador, but she lives in America now. Her kids are in America. So she wants what's best for America. She is a nationalist. But you won't hear the left talk about Hispanic nationalists, people who are different races who are American nationalists. But the thing is, this is the same side, the political side, that promotes and celebrates black nationalism and other types of ethno-nationalism. Groups like La Raza, New Black Panthers, they outnumber white supremacist groups in this country 20-1. There are far more ethno-nationalists on the left than there are on the right. And the only reason the ethno-nationalist white supremacists are on the right is because the Democratic Party pushed them away. Most of those white nationalist groups that are on the right are very much leftist and socialistic in their economic beliefs. They just don't like the cultural Marxism aspect of things. But if you listen to Richard Spencer, he's much more like a Clinton Democrat than he is a libertarian, Rothbardian conservative.
And by the way, if something is truly number one, you don't have to go around saying it all the time. It's kind of like a beta move, really. I mean, Harvard doesn't take out ads that say, Harvard, the world's #1 college, apply now. The failing Princeton is number 3, sad.
A beta move? Well, there's that left-wing projection I'm always talking about. And as far as Harvard, Harvard sells tons of t-shirts and gear. People love to brag that they went to Harvard. Even though Harvard's let itself go with affirmative action and nepotism, it's still a good feat if you've graduated with a graduate degree from Harvard, yes. And people should be proud of that, just like they should be proud to be Americans, just like they should want what's best for America as they would want what's best for their kids who might go to Harvard. And as far as America being #1, it is, okay? There's no question. I've lived all over the world. We might not be #1 by every metric, but this is still the best country on earth. This is the place with the most opportunity. There's no other place in the world where minorities can come in and make their way into the middle class, into the corridors of power. It just doesn't happen. People build boats made out of trash to leave the kind of countries that Sarah Silverman thinks are great to come to America. People flee socialism and communism to get here. There are other countries that are actually racist, actually xenophobic. America is the most inviting, most hospitable country on earth. And because you want to build a border wall does not mean that you're not that. It means that you want to keep it that way. You want to keep it, number one, you want to keep it a safe environment, a good place where people will want to come in, people who will contribute to society. That's what we want. We don't want to just, get rid of all the immigrants. That's ridiculous. And Sarah Silverman knows this. She's just pushing propaganda.
We criticize the things we love because we want them to be better. In some ways, to criticize is to love, which is why Jews are by far the most loving people out there. I'll never forget the last thing my mother said to me before she died, and this is true. She said, "Your hair, it's so dry." Or when people take a knee during the national anthem. It doesn't mean that they're saying they don't love their country. It means that they believe America can and should be better. And I believe that they will stand for the Star-Spangled Banner as soon as people of color can play in the park or drive home from a party or just be outside without the fear of getting killed by the people they pay to protect.
Colin Kapernick is a baby with adopted kid complex times 1,000 because his parents were a different race, and he's rebelling with communism. So no, he will never stand for a national anthem, and yes, he hates America. Because communists hate America. They want to undermine it in every way. And you know that, Sarah Silverman, because you're one of them. You're just more subversive because you're a propagandist, pushing all this cultural Marxism BS about blacks being shot more than whites when that's not true. We know that white police officers are less likely to shoot blacks because they're worried about propagandists like you crucifying them in the court of public opinion, when in reality, that's putting their lives in danger, especially because those black communities tend to be a little higher crime than the white ones. And why don't you ever talk about Hispanics or Asians? If Colin Kaepernick or Sarah Silverman really cared about solving police brutality, they would talk about the one issue we know would change things. We know that would help, and that is ending public sector unions. Just like the schools that are failing, the police forces are failing too because they're protecting bad police with overpaid public sector unions. And it's something we should not have. We do not need unions for government jobs. All that does is ensure failure. Guys, it's that simple. Colin Kaepernick, you want to put your money where your mouth is? Go after the unions. But I know you won't.
As patriots, I think we should strive to see ourselves in each other. Whereas I feel that the nationalist view is to see yourself and then others.
Sarah, the nationalist view is that, yes, America is great, but the others are okay too. The only thing is, we believe America should be put first because we live here, and we don't think America has the time or resources to take care of the whole world. Nor should we import the problems of the third world into America. We should vet people who come here so we don't end up with some of the problems that these places have. There's a reason people are trying to escape those places, because they're hell on earth. And we don't want that to happen here where our children live and our families live. See, not all of us are comedians and actors who can go flying around the world and don't have to live in one place. Some of us are stuck where we are. And I'm not one of those people, actually. I can go wherever I want, but I love it here. North Carolina is a beautiful place. I love America. I love the freedoms we have. And I don't want those things taken away. I don't want it de-beautified by horrible people committing horrible acts. And so, yes, we should put America first. We should strive to be better than other countries. That way, we can draw in the best people from other countries and keep out those people who bring those places down. And I think we could start by maybe getting rid of you, Sarah.